my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was throughout the day. And anyway, I really just hope that besides getting out in nature is to make sure, do a kind thing, maybe with your family members or a stranger. A stranger? No, not a stranger. We gotta get out of ourselves. COVID's not around anymore. Well, it is in a way, but it's not like it was years ago. So we really need to be kind to each other and not to be afraid to say hello to somebody at a park or on a hiking trail or out in public somewhere. And anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you could give this video a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can leave me a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you can also share my videos with a geese, a goose, a geese. Dog! Yeah, I've seen lots of dogs, so yeah, you can share my videos with your dog if you have one. And also, you can follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. And don't forget to check out my playlist. There's a lot of strange things going on, and I'm gonna have some interesting topics coming up soon. I just gotta get some more information before I bring those out. And anyway, I love you so much, and today is a very important video. And I was trying to make this video earlier, but my hair was not ready. The wind was blowing. I didn't have a free hand, so I am here at the library, got all cleaned up and freshened up and hair done, and now I am ready to make this video. So anyway, this video is so important because this is a big part of why I have a YouTube channel. It's about the future for the kids. And there's a lot of funky stuff going on. I know I'm not the only one that sees this stuff. And what is going on? It's everywhere. It's all over. It is a sad thing when I see it, and it's not. We definitely got to make a big jump as far as a change in the world, because we have young parents out there and older folks out there that have babies and kids, and there's grandpas and grandmas out there. So grandma and grandpa, we could really help our kids out as far as with their kids, your grandkids. And it is so important to really look out for them. And we only could do so much as far as grandparents go, as far as like if you see something, say something as far as your children. And not that we are here to control our kids, but is to give them some sound, good advice to help them out, to steer them, and let them know, if you see your children bringing up your grandkids in a way that could really trip your grandkids up later on, you don't have to bitch and yell. Did Starlight just say that? Yeah, you don't have to bitch and yell and scream and fight to get your point across, because that does happen a lot, where grandparents might worry about how their own kids are bringing up their babies. The grandkids, of course, even though you might be a grandma and a grandpa, is that those are, yes, they are your grandkids. And you might have learned stuff later on after your kids got brought up. Sometimes you don't understand things until later on, after you see your kids bringing up your grandkids. But it's still their kids. We really have to be careful in the way society is. And I wanted to, I don't know how I'm going to do this as far as editing this video, is because I see it all over. It's really sad. It's I was at a park one day, and and that one day I was like, wow, what in the world is going on? And Starlight a lot of times is editing her videos or taking pictures, but I'm not doing what a lot of and I don't know what other people are doing with their cell phones, but it is pretty sad, where couples could be walking somewhere at a park, and I don't have one with me. I can't really do this because I have to have I'm just gonna go like this, maybe it will work, where they're they're a couple and they're walking together, and it's not just couples. I'm like, wow, this is just not really good. Is that they both are on their cell phones. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something, but they're not even talking with each other. But they're going around like this whole lake, and they both have their phones in their hands, doing whatever. I also seen one day, and it was really sad, is there was, and this is what I'm seeing, so you can leave me a message down below. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you, or are you one of those that are doing the same thing, and so you're not even seeing what's going on around you? This is why it's so important. We got to step it up for the kids, for their future. We really, I know there's an ending and then there's a beginning, just like with this 9/9 portal, there's an ending, and then it's starting a beginning. We need this, but is I have seen where there was 4 guys. They were walking around the park, around the lake. They all had their cell phones out doing stuff, and it was sad because one guy was really getting into whatever he was doing, and so he stopped. And the 3 guys kept on walking. Where Joe or whoever, I don't know, I gotta pick on Joe, but Joe's back there still like, I don't know what he's doing. Those 3 guys go over there. Now they're, say they're like 20 feet apart. So they're like 20 feet apart. Here Joe's back here, and Tom, Dick, and Larry. I always gotta use the name Dick. So Tom, Dick, and Larry is over here. And what is Tom, Dick, and Larry doing? They're all so on their cell phones, like, they're not even talking to each other. Not even talking to each other. I don't even know why they even got together. Why did Tom, Dick, and Larry and Joe even get together? What was the whole point? Was the whole point is Tom, Dick, and Larry and Joe to get together so they could sit, stand, walk, walk, with their phones like this, and not even say, how was your week, And the reason why this is so dangerous is because you're going to get a guy and a girl, or girl and a guy, getting hooked up, and, if you're really into your cell phone so much, are you that type that actually sleeps with your phone nearby? Starlight kind of is, because I'm in my car, so it's not like a big space where I can put my phone. But my phone, I turn it off every night. It's like I don't want to hear that, and it's not really good for you to have your phone close to your bed with it on. There's children having issues and problems because those cell phones are very dangerous, like to have, and it's really sad where there's young kids these days all over. I see it in the park. I'm like, oh my, he's like, and I can't do nothing. Sometimes our hands are a little tied, and that's why it's so important, mom and dad. If a relative, this is what happens sometimes, is if a relative's, say if mom and dad says, son, daughter, you're not having a cell phone, and maybe the mom and dad don't even want to spend money because they know it's going to cost a lot, and add more to their bill every month, because if they don't have a job, they won't be able to pay for the phone. And to me, they shouldn't have a phone until they're out there getting a job, and they could pay for their own phone plan. It shouldn't be something added to the family. They need to learn to pay for that on their own, but that's Starlight's opinion. You can still do whatever you want. We all have a free will. But what it is, if mommy and daddy says, you're not having a cell phone until you get out and, you're going to school, you're being responsible, getting good grades. If you get good grades, then I'll let you go out. And if they're not having good grades, should they be going out to get a job? Should they? So I would make sure, if I was going to do this all over again, having kids, I'd be like, your grades are not good. So you need to spend more time in studying so you get those good grades. Now, I'm against public school, so I'm just talking like for kids that are in public school. Now, if it's homeschool, that's a totally different story, because I'd be like, what I did with my son is he had to get at least an 85. If he didn't get an 85, well, you gotta do that all over again until you get an 85. So you gotta be strict with your kids when it comes to schoolwork, because it will put them, they need to learn it, hopefully, like at homeschooling is a lot different than public school. So as far as like kids, if they're going to public school and they're getting C's and B's and they're really not getting good grades, and it's kind of iffy if they're even going to graduate or even go to the next grade, or maybe they got to go to summer school, because what are they doing? And that's why it's so important. You got to be the boss at the house, not the kids, and it starts when they're little. I was in this library the other day and I was so blown away, is that there was a young girl that was in here with her, I'm believing it was her mom, and it's so sad, is it starts when they're little. You gotta really catch this shit when they're little. Is when they're little, you're the boss. Don't have them telling you what time bedtime is. Don't let them tell you what they're gonna eat or what they're not gonna eat. You better be the boss, because if you're not the boss when they're little, and then they get a little older, like say, like at, my grandson's gonna be 4, coming up, is if at 4, if your kids, whether a boy or girl, if they're already running the show and you're not stepping up to the plate and letting them know, no, I am mommy and daddy, it's good to have them make choices on certain things that they can, hey, you can pick out your clothes. That's a great way where they could start off. But there's other things that really mommy and daddy need, they need to be firm and say, no, we're leaving now. If you don't control them when they're little and you let this slide thinking, oh, it's okay, he's just little right now, it's okay, is that you're gonna create a big mess later on when they get older. So, it is really important. You don't have to beat your children. I'm totally 100% beating your children. You don't have to do that. It's really best that you have to start them off little, and yes, it is a lot of work. That means that mommy and daddy, you can't go, get that bottle of beer right now because your kids need you. Or mom, you can't go get that, glass of wine right now and listen to your music and, smoke a joint. Those of you that do, because you don't want to take that extra energy to really focus on what's important, is to bring up your kids in a good, healthy way. So then, and it takes a lot of extra work, just like teaching them about how to clean, how to cook, how to, give them chores at a young age. Like my grandson, he's already getting chores and getting paid. That's a great way to start off. And as, when they get older, you got to let them know now, you could go get a job, and now, you're not going to get paid for these jobs at home because you have a job. And when you get older on your own and you live with yourself, you're not going to get paid to clean your own house. So it's a step-by-step process with your children. And when it comes to cell phones, if you are being that example as far as like glued to your phone and ignoring your kids and neglecting your kids because something's better going on, and that's what they purposely did this to a lot of people, is to get you, addicted to your cell phone with all these different apps and, things that don't really matter. Now, people can watch, like sports on their phone or porn. Yeah, why not? So, you got to be that example to your kids as far as, like they're going to follow by the example that you're laying out for them. If you're a person that, mommy and daddy goes to a restaurant, which I heard this not too long ago, I forgot to share on a video, is that what they did at this restaurant is that they had like these lockers with keys. And what it was is that the restaurant people were so tired of seeing people walk in, and they would go to a restaurant and most of the people were on their cell phones and not even interacting with the person they went to dinner with. So they had this thing that, here you go, we'll put your phone into this locker, and then you get the key, you know, so that way then, you know, when they get done eating, then they can go to that little locker and get their key, get their phone out of the locker, so they weren't sitting at the table, you know, because that is where we're going to trip the kids up later on. And it is so important. Some of you might think this is nothing, this is not serious. It's serious. Because like I said earlier about like kids having cell phones, that should be a rule with the family, but I'm not telling you what you got to do. You got to figure it out on your own. But you know, if you do have a kid that has a cell phone, then you need to teach them discipline. If it's already too late, your kids already have a cell phone, well then they need to be taught. Like I taught my son, you know, when he was younger, is that when company comes, you know, the video game goes away. No more playing on the video game, you know, because I didn't know it at first. Sometimes we learn as we go, is that, you know, I didn't think of it at first, you know, because it was something new that kind of happened, is that my daughter and her husband, you know, would come with my grandson and they would come and visit us. Well, my son didn't know any better. I didn't know any better at the time because it was something new that happened. Where my son was, you know, too occupied playing video games and wasn't even finding out anything about his sister, you know, wasn't, you know, spending time with his nephew, wasn't talking to, you know, maybe some hi, but not anything really. And so I didn't correct it the first time, but the second time, you know, I actually, after my daughter and family members left, I said, you know, next time when your sister comes over with your nephew and, you know, your my brother-in-law, is the no computer, no video games, because it's rude. They came all the way out here to visit with you, and this is visit time. So you gotta teach your kids, if they're gonna have cell phones, and you gotta teach them, okay, you got a cell phone, but it's not going to school with you. You got a cell phone, but, you know, when we're together as a family, you're not playing with it. You got a cell phone, but we're gonna take it from you before you go to bed. You gotta be the one setting the rules up, because imagine now, you know, because the way adults are right now, if you see me on my phone, a lot of times it's I'm editing, I'm taking a picture, I might be making a video, you know, I am at a park doing meditations, you know, I might be watching, you know, like some educational stuff to help me out on my phone because in my situation. So I'm really, it's about work, you know, it's not really, I'm not playing video games, I'm not watching movies, you know, I very little bit, you know, like here and there with my family, talk on the phone, or very little bit actually talk on the phone more than texting, you know, but these are areas that we have to watch out with our kids. You might think it's no big deal, but wait until later on when it is a big deal, when all these parents are too busy, you know. So you got like a kid growing up where there's no rules as far as, you know, a cell phone, where, you know, you go out to dinner and your son is at the, you know, out at a restaurant with the family members, and what are they all doing on their cell phones, you know, like no interaction at all. And like I said, the story with the man, this happens with even couples where two people are walking side by side, they both have a cell phone in their hands, and then one got occupied and they just slowed down and stopped. And the other one was so occupied on their cell phone that they just kept on going, and like and then they stop. They're not even like here with reality. And that's why it's so important that we really put a stop to this kind of stuff, you know, because it's not healthy for the generations coming up as far as when they have kids and what they're going to do, you know. So if you're a mom and dad that says you're not going to have a cell phone until later on when you're responsible enough and, you know, you have a job, you're out and you're going to pay for that phone yourself, to teach them responsibility, right? Because mom and dad shouldn't pay for everything, right? Hope not. So then you're going to have relatives that, you know, find out, oh, it's Johnny's birthday coming up. You know, they might not know that you have a house rule that says no cell phones until you get a job later on. If your grades are good and you're doing everything at the house, you're doing your chores, you're doing, you know, a lot of people are so in a rush to hurry up and get their kids out. Hurry up, graduate, get out. Hurry up, graduate, get out. Not all parents are like that, but a lot of them are. It's like, okay, you get out of the house and I got more money, I can take care of myself. So I hope that's not you. You know, I was not like that. I wanted my son to stay with me until we got married, you know. So, but things didn't go that way. So we had to adjust to those things. But that was not my plan. You know, God, everything happened the way God wanted it. So with that is, you really want to, like, if family members said, hey, I got Johnny a phone for his birthday and brought it, you know, wrapped it all up in a present, and they didn't say anything to you, and your son received the gift, and it was a cell phone, what are you going to do? Keep it because, let's see, Aunt Sally bought it, and now you're like, well, because Aunt Sally bought it, I guess, you know, we're going to just let you have it. Tell Aunt Sally, sorry, but we told our son Johnny, if I get the names right, that he can't have one. You're going to have to return this back. You can return it back, and you're just going to have to get Johnny some other gift, because that is our rule that we have for Johnny. And just because you're Aunt Sally, you're not going to break the rule in our family, because we're trying to protect Johnny from going through this stuff now. We're not ready for Johnny to have that cell phone right now. It was a great thought, you know, sweet, but Johnny's really not ready for that yet. He's not responsible enough right yet, you know. So you really have to be wise as far as, you know, the cell phones. And it is really sad, you know, like even people, you know, they got to have a lot of streets with lights, and like where you got to push the button to be like, oh, they got to have these. People would get run over, you know, because they're too busy on their phone, you know. Like I have seen this so many times of people not even paying attention of where they're even walking. Where are they walking? You know, like they don't even know where they're going. So it is a big, huge problem, and we really have to put a stop to that. And I don't know what the school system is like. Are they allowed to have, you know, their cell phones, you know? Because I wouldn't doubt that parents would like have a fit if my son and my daughter, you know, can't have their cell phone in school, because I want to make sure, you know, hey, when I went to school, I didn't have a cell phone and I survived. If there's something that happened to me at the school got a hold of my parents and said, Starlight's sick. You got to come and pick her up. And, you know, if your kids are going to somebody's house, don't they have phones? So they really don't need to have cell phones until they're older, you know, when they're responsible. Oh, that's my sign of the library's closing. So anyway, I really hope you get a lot of help from this video. I love you so much. So, you know, please pass this video around and share this video, because it is so important that we don't let these phones control kids and their future. So anyway, I love you. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you can share my videos with a donkey, your family members, your friends, a frog ribbon. And also, you could share, check me out on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and it's Kathy with a K, Dig with Starlight. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light.